Will the CFA exam help you get out of India? If yes, how? Which university will actually want to absorb you? Hey, is CFA better or FIM better? Or wait, when should I even do each of these courses? Which countries out of India are eager to absorb Indians? Which countries are a little averse? We have answered all these questions in today's podcast with Murad Beg, a content creator, entrepreneur, finance enthusiast, CFA Level 3 candidate, and one of the youngest people to have cleared FRM. This guy has helped thousands of kids reach their dream college and has also simplified education through his startup, Finlander. Without any further ado, let's get to today's podcast. Hi, Murad. Welcome to Tatanishka Spotlight. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, we
And
already have a name, Tanishka Spotlight. I feel like we didn't have a name.
we started it with your episode. So it's like the inauguration. The name's inauguration is with your.
Glad I was the first person. Sure, Tanishka, let's get started.
So, Murad, we all know that majority of my audience is CFA or finance enthusiasts, and you have also been a CFA student yourself, a CFA level 3 candidate, in fact. So, let's start with your CFA journey. What do you think is your biggest takeaway from CFA so far? Why would you recommend it to someone?
With regards to what's the biggest takeaway with CFA, it's widely recognized. Even if I talk about the most recognized degree in terms of commerce students in India, that's chartered accountancy. If you tell anyone that I'm a chartered accountant outside India, no one really knows what a chartered accountant is. Uh, Beat any other degree. There are degrees like CWM, FRM. No one really knows. Even the best finance institutions don't really know what these certifications are. But CFA is that golden collar opportunity, golden collar degree, which literally everyone knows. It's either CFA or CPA. But CPA takes you more towards the audit side, CFA takes you more towards the finance side. But the biggest takeaway would be that CFA is widely recognized. You plan to get admission in any international university, they already know about CFA. They would give you some credits or at least would help you with your admission. You plan to take a job, they would ask you to do CFA. So it actually helps you a lot.
Okay. Murad, you specified job and admission. So, guys, for everybody, definitely you guys know Murad. He helps people get admissions in their dream colleges. So, that is a topic I'm going to touch on in the next segment, getting to the job section that you said. And once you get in a job, they ask you to do CFA. Do you think that a CFA alone, or somebody who's done just maybe a plain BCom within India, let's talk about that, and a CFA, you can count level 1, level 2, level 3, whatever you want to tap onto first, can they get a good job?
Honestly speaking, I don't feel like you need to do level 1, level 2, all the three levels of CFA. Many a times I've seen people just say that they're planning to sit for level 1, that they're CFA level 1 candidates and then get jobs. I've also seen people who have cleared CFA level 2, but in the interview round, so you need to understand when you say that you're doing CFA, your entire interview
Changes.
is going to be on a different scale. Your questions are going to be more finance oriented. It usually happens so that when you're introducing yourself, the first question is always tell me about yourself, and you try to put in CFA there.
Right.
And next, your entire interview is majorly based on that CFA. So even if you tell the interviewer that I am sitting for CFA level 1, if you're able to answer the CFA questions, you will definitely have a preference as opposed to a person who has cleared CFA level 2 and is not able to answer the questions. So I don't really feel like that having CFA level 1 to all the three levels is going to help you in any way. What is rather going to help you is the name itself, and if you're able to back it up with knowledge. Because honestly, it's a practical degree. I don't really feel like it's a tag that you just go and complete and you feel like the interview and the companies will come towards you. Oh, you've cleared CFA level 3. Now we want to hire you. That never happens.
Basically, it does add value in your opinion, but if it is done with knowledge, of course. But do you think, again, taking it a step further, that if I go with just a BCom and a CFA, suppose I've not done my MBA, I've not done any other degree, no CA, no FIM, nothing else, and I'm a complete fresher, will I still have an opportunity to get a fairly decent job?
If you're able to get your foot inside the door, yes. What MBA usually helps you with is getting your foot inside the door. You have career placement teams, you have career services teams, be it India, be it abroad. In India, you have placement else, in abroad you have career services team. They help you get a foot inside the door. That means they help you reach to the point of interview. If you're able to reach to the point of interview just with your plain BCom, that would require a lot of networking. But if you're able to do that, honestly, MBA is not required at all. An MSc Finance degree, I usually quote this that amongst the best MSc Finance degrees, there is one by University of Melbourne that on its website very proudly says University of Melbourne is the rank one university of Australia. And Melbourne Business School on their website proudly say that we cover 65% of CFA syllabus. I mean, they're not even covering 100% of CFA syllabus. So if you just cover CFA, I personally feel like it's a way better thing to do than a master's in finance. Just that masters in finance would be a bit more practical. CFA, since you have to do it on is theoretical in nature, but at the same time, 100% worth the money that you invest. And as a result, I don't really feel like you need to do an MBA. With a CFA alone, you can get a job. Just that getting to the point of interview would be tough. If you reach there, getting through would not be that difficult. Getting to the point of interview would be tough.
Fair. If you get to the point of interview, do you think they can bag, maybe not initially, but maybe say in a year or two, as good salaries as somebody in an MBA college would have possibly done through their placement?
With an MBA, you would definitely have higher salaries. And when we're talking about MBAs, I'm only talking about top MBAs, be it India, be it US, be it anywhere else. I'm only talking about top MBAs, IIMs or the likes. No, MBAs will definitely have higher salaries. It's just how market looks at it. Uh, but at the same time, the biggest deadly combination that you can go ahead with could be a CFA right after your college, 4 to 5 years of experience, then probably a top Ivy League from US or maybe an IIM ISP kind of colleges. The jump that you will see in that case would be unparalleled. So I wouldn't bash IIMs or I wouldn't bash MBAs. They're still giving the returns, but at the same time, right out of college, it is advisable to first get work experience and then go for an MBA. Directly going for an MBA again wouldn't make much sense. So the best case would be if a student has the means, then do CFA, then MBA. That's the perfect killer combination.
Yeah. You also mentioned that do your CFA. I mean, one of the parts of your killer combination is do CFA and get work experience and then do like an Ivy League or something if possible. Why don't you tell us how difficult or how easy is it to get in any college out of India for that matter? Let's start with US.
It's not really difficult to get admission. The only issue is when we talk to them about our nationality, that's India, everyone wants to do it. Everyone wants to do an MBA. If I talk about my Stanford class, there are more than 15 people coming from India. If I talk about Oxford class, there is more than 30 people, more than 50 in fact, coming from India. So it's really hard for Indians to get into those places. If for a second I change nationalities and tell them that I'm coming from any other country other than India, they would take me like this. But from India, you need to be competitive. And when I say competitive, you need to have good GMAT scores. Your
Okay.
quantitative ability matters a lot.
Yeah.
After your GMAT scores, you need to have experience, work experience. So if you have worked in a good company, that takes you a long way. Let's suppose you're coming from consulting background, your chances of getting into Harvard, Stanford, or likes actually go up 3 times. So you are thrice more likely to get an admission. So if the application acceptance rate is 10%, for people who are coming from top companies like BCG, Bain, McKinsey, Big Four, their acceptance rate goes up to 30%. So big name attached to your profile takes you a long way. And finally, if you have a good story, eventually what do you want to do? If you can connect why you want to do an MBA and how it would help you with your future, if you're able to sort out these 3 things, your chance of getting into a top B school isn't really, it's not really difficult.
Fair. Which country do you think currently, or countries, let's say top three countries, do you think are really absorbing Indians well or are wanting to take Indians? Like you said, it's tough for Indians because of the mass population. So if I take top three right now, who would it be?
So Indians have been inclined towards UK and Canada lately, which I feel like is wrong. In the current economic scenario, you shouldn't be looking towards UK and Canada. US can take a lot of students because they have a very good filtration criteria. Their interview system is very robust. So they will reject any candidate which they feel like wouldn't be able to make it in US. So US would definitely always stay number one. It's the biggest economy. They have great jobs, they have great salaries, great perks. So US would always remain number one. But the only problem with US would be they don't have any settlement options. You will always stay on an H1B visa. I mean, for the most part of it, stay on an H1B visa. The long-term settlement perspective in US is really messed up. So US would stay number one. The only issue being that probably you will not be on stable ground. Next would be Germany. Germany would be for those people who are ready to learn the language. So if you're ready to take up German as a language, Germany is an amazing economy to move to. Has is the biggest economy of Europe. Again, good salaries, good work-life balance, amazing work-life balance. But again, you'll have to learn German if you plan to move to Germany. At third spot, I would either say France or Australia. France because they want more Indians. Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, is himself said that by 2030 they need 30,000 more Indians in France. But again, it will have the problem of you learning French. If not France, if you don't want to learn French, then the only major English speaking economy that you can still move to, at least in 2024, would be Australia. So if I have to rank it, USA, Germany, then France and Australia, either one. If you're ready to learn French, then definitely France. Otherwise, if you want to stick towards English country, then Australia.
You mentioned for US that the stable grounds are not that well. For Germany and France, is it the same situation, or are they better
Way
absorbed?
better. Way better. If you end up learning their language, see, every country needs immigrants, and skilled immigrants are really difficult to find. India, fortunately, has a huge population which can provide these countries with skilled immigration. But they also want national integration. Now, everyone in France speaks French.
Right.
If you as an immigrant come and can't speak French, it dilutes their culture. When we say France, France is people who speak French. France is for a country for people who speak French. And same goes with Germany. They want to preserve this cultural identity. And for that, if you're ready to learn the language, both France and Germany, easy countries to get settlement options in. I mean, if you look at Germany, you can also become a German citizen in 3 years. 5 years, in 3 years, you get a PR. That's the quickest in any country. But they want you to learn the language. So if you're ready to pick up their language, it's easy. Otherwise, it's not.
Yeah. Taking it one step back, if suppose somebody doesn't want to go to study, right? They've done their CFA, they have say some work experience or no work experience for both categories. Can they migrate, and how?
Directly in finance field, if you have work experience, it is possible. So depending on the company that you're working in, it is very much possible. You have, but it would again require a lot of networking and knowing what kind of opportunities are opening up. You can get in touch with headhunters and they can also help you migrate. There are a lot of ways for people who have work experience to move. If let's suppose you're working in a good company, even your company would want to take you towards the front end roles in all these foreign countries. But for someone who does not have work experience, it's very difficult, at least in finance domain. If you're coming from CS background, it is still possible somewhat, but from finance domain, I've not seen in my journey of 50,000 students, I've not seen anyone do this. So it's really tough.
Sorry, I'm cutting you. Did you say CS or CFA? Said CS.
CS, I said
That's
CS,
also
computer
quite.
science. For computer science, I have seen people with no work experience to go and get jobs abroad directly. With data science, data analytics, I've seen it happen. With finance, I've not seen it till now.
Any other domain other than data science that you think can help people go directly?
Then there is education field and nursing field.
Okay.
nursing is something which is not looked up upon in India, but then nursing field is one field where you can move. Like if you plan to move to US, Dubai, UK, they need more nurses. And specifically in Kerala, it's a huge business where students just study nursing just to move abroad. So if that's your only goal, then nursing is one field which can help you with this.
Now, you also mentioned that, if you do CFA, you get a higher chance in getting a better college. And, if you have work experience. Now, let's cut out the work experience. A person who's just done their graduation started CFA, either cleared CFA level one or on the journey. How higher are their chances as compared to somebody who's not done this to get into a good college outside India?
The best ranked University of Canada for finance is Rotman, University of Toronto, Rotman. If you've cleared CFA level 1, level 2, you don't need to give GMAT.
Oh,
Same goes with a lot of British universities. Same goes with a lot of US universities. So the requirement of GMAT, the first requirement that you have towards the admission process, is waived off by many of these universities just by telling that I've done CFA. Adding on to that, if let's suppose the university is not outrightly waiving off GMAT, but you give GMAT, your GMAT scores are not that great. Still, just telling them that you have done CFA compensates for your low GMAT score. It does not completely compensate for it, but it compensates for it to a certain extent.
just a
Yes.
level one. That's that hold.
Just level one also. So that shows why do universities want to see your GMAT score or your CGPA? Or it tells them that you're quantitatively strong. You can take the MBA curriculum. Similarly, let's suppose your CGPA is fine, your GMAT scores are average. Just by telling them that you have cleared CFA, it shows that your quantitative aptitude is good. And if your quantitative aptitude is good, you'll be good to do these courses. So that is why just by telling them you have done CFA level 1 or level 2, it helps you a lot.
Okay. Again, going back to another point, is you also mentioned that US is one of the best places, of course, leaving the stability part. However, correct me if I'm wrong. What I know is you need 16 years of education to get into US. Am I correct? I'm not very sure of this.
Not for every university.
Okay. So
So
can
there are many universities that are very specific about it. So Stanford is very specific about it. UT Austin is very specific about it. But then there are a lot of universities like Emory. They're comfortable with 15 years of education. Rice is comfortable with it. So it depends which university you're applying to. Uh, Outrightly saying it as a blanket statement that all US universities require 16 years of education is completely wrong. What I would rather want students to do is universities have their email IDs. It would take them max 15 minutes to send email to 15 universities because they just have to change the name of the university. Send them email, ask them if they accept 15 years of education. This is my degree. Let them do the work. It's their work to tell them whether they accept it or not. And trust me, a lot of universities do.
fair. As a student, when you go to these countries, let's count the top three, actually four countries that you mentioned: US, Germany, France, and Australia. How easy is it to get a job or post, like post your education? What are the chances of you getting an actual job and work permit as well?
So work permit is usually by government itself. So if you go to US, you get 3 year work permit. If you go to Australia, you get 3 year plus it can be extended to 5 year. If you go to Germany, you get 18. So it's by the government. You don't really have to work for that. It's provided with your master's degree. Now talking about getting job, it's not easy. Don't think that you'll just land there and get the jobs will walk towards you. You'll still have to do your networking part. You'll still have to do your research of finding a job. What really helps students a lot is the kind of college they're graduating from. So, to give you an example, when I was at Stanford, I asked one of my classmates what kind of jobs is she getting. She was saying, "Oh, the market is really tight." So this is me. This is like 6 months old conversation. So I asked her, "So how's the market right now?" She told me, "Oh, the market is really bad." So I was not looking for jobs. I was continuing with my company, but she told me the market is really bad. She was Chinese, Sibai. She said the market is really bad, and I asked her, "So did you not get any opportunities?" She said, "I got one opportunity, but it was 130K, and I don't really want to join it. They're not valuing the kind of, because she was coming with a 100K salary in Stanford, and now she was getting $130,000. She didn't want to take it. In inside me, I was thinking $130,000, 1.1 crore rupees. She doesn't want to take 1.1 crore rupees for a year. She feels like she's being underpaid. I was like, Acha, so how much are you looking at? She was like, anywhere from 160 above, I'll be happy taking. So like, okay. Then there is one more university, Santa Clara University. So I was asked to make a video on Santa Clara University. I visited the campus. I started talking to a student. I asked him, "So, how's the job market?" It's literally 60 kilometers apart. 60 kilometers apart. And there is no other university in between. Stanford, Santa Clara. So I asked him, "How's the job market?" He's like, "Very tough job market, bro, very tough." I was like, "So, are you not finding any jobs?" He said that I applied for a job, $60,000 job. I hope I get it. So, both of them are doing same degree. One is saying that I hope I get a $60,000 job. The one is rejecting a $130,000 job. So what I mean to say is the kind of university dictates a lot of things. Then next, I visited UC Berkeley. Even in UC Berkeley, companies want to hire from such universities because they know the kind of quality people there will be. But on the other hand, many students, they just go abroad just for the sake of it. They see people enjoying abroad, they feel like, oh, they're enjoying, let me go. Studying abroad cannot happen in a day. There are many counselors out there who can help you get admission within a day, and you can move abroad within 5 months. And I've seen so many of my friends do that. I scream at them, don't. I see them waste their money at bullshit universities. I mean, it's like them going to Amity and LPU of UK and Canada. It's the worst investment that they can do, but they feel like, okay, we're spending 20 lakh rupees and we get to stay in US or whichever country for 2 3 years, but that degree is of no use, literally no use. That's just gonna bite them in the backside a year from now when they have to pay back this education loan and they'll not find a job.
But just taking this point, because I also have people who have done this, they take up any university without even doing a in-depth research with the thought that all kuch nahi to we'll get a PR. So
Exactly.
do you think that actually can happen, or that works for some?
That used to work 3 years ago, 4 years ago. In fact, 10 years ago, that was the perfect strategy. Today, there was this so there's this liquor brand in Canada just for part-time job there. There were more than 1,000 people in queue just to get part-time minimum wage job. We're not even talking about a job that will help them pay back their loan or anything. Minimum part-time job which would just cover their maintenance. They're not even able to find such jobs. So no way it is going to help them at all in this current scenario. There's this university called Aston University. I'm not trying to pull any university down, but there is this Aston University. Out of 19 people there, only one has found a job. That too, like an average job, nothing like something good in his field. Just a sales job, one person. Rest 18 are still trying to find jobs.
And I mean, I know somebody who's in Australia, so I'm just gonna give you an example.
Australia is still better. Australia right now is still better, but UK and Canada are really messed up. Australia probably for this year also will be fine, but I don't know about next year. But still, Australia is way better.
Again, there was something that she told me, and I just want to address it and ask your opinion. Is that in Australia, if you want the PR, you need to have relevant job experience. Is that the same for pretty much all places that we mentioned, the four countries?
So Australia is very specific about which field are you working in, and then in that field you apply for your PR.
Yes.
With regards to other countries, let's suppose Canada, there are knocks. So knocks, just to uh, just for simple clarification, If you're doing a managerial level job, be that in X thing, Y thing, Z thing, they don't really care until and unless it is considered as a managerial level job. It would be considered as for your PR. So that's with regards to Australia. With regards to US, it's either STEM based or non STEM based, and then it's a lottery system. If your name gets picked in the lottery, yes, or then no. And then in terms of UK, they're changing their visa rules a lot these days. But more or less, yes, it would depend a bit on what kind of job role that you're doing. Then there is a minimum threshold that you should be earning. If you're earning that, then you will be getting a PR. If not, then you would not. So different countries, different rules.
So we also spoke about the 10-year-old strategy of just, get into any college and convert yourself as a full-time PR or resident. As of today, if somebody is going with just the intention of, I want to shift my country of where I'm staying, my residency, what do you think would be the best strategy for them?
It's still Canada. Move to Canada, but then be sure that just moving countries wouldn't solve your problems. We feel like, okay, we land in Canada and then money will flow. That's not the case. You'll see way too many people who are on the roads in Canada than India itself. You would see more people in Canada on roads in India. So just thinking that, oh, I'll just move countries and everything will be sorted, that's not the case. But if you're ready to put in the hard work, Canada is still a country that still gives out a lot of PRs and is still welcoming to immigrants. But you need to put in the efforts. You need to put in a lot of efforts.
Is it still the same for India as well? I mean, I'm not very sure of exactly what happened,
There
but
was a tussle. Indians have started looking for other options. So in 2023, Indians were 3,60,000 who went to Canada. This year, only 3 lakh went, which was expected to be 4,20,000 this year. But there has been a 20% drop this year. But still, Canada is a huge country. It still has a huge potential of taking immigrants, but they also want qualified immigrants now. So if you feel like you're smart enough, you can bag a job, then Canada still can be a position country to move to. But then in terms of salaries that you'll be making there, kind of living it is in Canada right now, it's not number one.
and how do you then recommend moving to Canada? Let's assume that somebody wants to put in the hard work there and just go find a job there or take some college. Like, what is the best?
First of all, go for a master's degree. Don't fall for a PG diploma, go for a master's degree. Second, so I hope you know the difference between a PG diploma or a master's degree, but master's degree is ideally by a university, PG diploma is by a college. Uh, First, go for a master's degree. Second, just don't go for any course. If you're planning to go for general management courses, general marketing courses, supply chain management courses, all of those are really terrible courses to go for. If you're going, take up a niche which is required in the economy right now. So that can be business analytics, that can be data analytics, that can be anything related to computer science, anything related to AI, anything related to education field, anything related to healthcare field. So these fields are hot cakes. At least you'll find jobs in them. Other fields, not really. So having analytics in your background, even if you're planning to go for HR, look for something like HR analytics. If you're planning to go for marketing, look for something like marketing analytics, which is need of the hour right now. So that would be looking, making sure that the course that you're going for is very good. Second would be getting work experience in Canada, even if that's any sort of work experience, that's sales work experience, get it. That's marketing work experience, get it. Because Canada values Canadian experience a lot. So getting that experience takes you a long way. Third would be getting work experience from India. If you get a year or 2 years of work experience in India, that helps you a lot when you're looking for jobs there.
That was a lot. I've also heard for the Canadian system, correct me if I'm wrong, I might be wrong in this, is that if you get a PR, anybody from your family gets a PR, it's easier to absorb your entire family as is for other countries. Is that correct? Wrong?
It is sort of correct. There are different fields, different streams that open up. Even if you're applying on your own, you start getting additional points just by saying that my sister is a PR, you get additional 5 points. My spouse is a PR, then you get 10 additional points. So yes, it does help. It does really help. Yeah.
Specifically for Canada more than other countries? Or
Specifically for Canada, because Canada is right now based on a point-based immigration system. So yes, it does help.
okay, one or two more questions from this segment. There are a lot of content creators as well coming up, in today. I will not name people, but get a job in, say, UK, get a job in Australia, Germany, whatever, some hotspots without experience, hiring freshers. I think even Dubai was one, if I'm not mistaken, recently. What is your take on that? Because whatever we have spoken is that, just getting a job for a fresher is tough. So what about these? How authentic do you think are they actually?